They were also in the Mitten State, who won the national championship. It was the 2000 Michigan State Spartans, led by Tom Izzo. They both won the championship, both won the regular season. Now, Michigan did not end up winning the Big Ten tournament, but out of their 40 games, they won 37 of them, tying the conference record with the Illini of 20-plus years ago. And their point differential, both extremely dominant. Now, Michigan State had two All-Americans on their national championship squad. Yaxel Lendeborg, the only All-American on this version of the Wolverines and their national championship team. So there is a lot of historic Big Ten teams, Big Ten hoops brands to be able to compare this squad with. And then in the end, having a national championship does enhance the overall, what the historic perception of this team will be. I want to get to a bit of the micro here shortly, but just from a macro perspective, how favorably does this version of Michigan that cut down the nets last night compare with some of the all-time greats?
Well, number one, first and foremost, because of your point, getting to the national championship in my eyes makes them number one. I think that Michigan State team, I was a young kid. We were talking about it in the back. I'll never forget Mateen Cleese running down the court with the smile. Mo Pete, the other All-American, I believe they had on that team, but a really well-rounded team. But this team 1-8. You know, again, we talked about L.J. Casey getting hurt. He's going to be a star. Trey McKinney coming off the bench. He's going to be a star. Like, they have countless talent. The only other team in my eyes that really compares from a talent standpoint is that Ohio State 2017 with Gio, Greg Oden, Mike Conley, Daquan Cook, and a plethora of other pros.
So now, just to clarify then, what we saw last night, this is the greatest basketball team in Big Ten history?
Yeah, for my success, yeah. I didn't listen. I wasn't born in 19. I wasn't even a twinkle in my dad's eye in 1976. So Hoosier fans don't come after me. I didn't see it. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going with this Michigan squad in terms of dominance, right? Like, are they going to have the best pros?
Like, you know, the 04, 05 Illini, they had a lot of NBA guys on that squad too, but they didn't win it all in the end.
Contextually, right? Like, yeah, who did they lose to? They lost to that North Carolina team that had even more pros, same as that Ohio State team. They lost to Florida. I don't think that Illini team was as deep as this Michigan team. And again, I think, you know, that Ohio State team, they had David Lighty coming off the bench, 8th, 9th man. So from a talent perspective, I think it was that Ohio State team. Lighty, you know, that's my dog. He played about 10 years in college. He'd fit in just fine with this movement. But yeah, I think in the macro, there's Michigan teams in terms of dominance, the way that they guarded, defensively imposed their will on teams. I haven't seen a ton like it, not just in the Big Ten, but nationally.
And it feels to me like we're in what might be kind of a golden era of guard play in the Big Ten, because the conference is so deep, and one of the reasons it's so deep is because the backcourts are exceptional, top to bottom in the Big Ten. But the versatility of the big man in this conference has expanded so much as well, where not only do you have great posts who can help dominate a game with the physicality we saw last night, but they can step back. They can get in the open court. For Michigan, for this version of the squad, how much does it say about their capabilities that, yeah, they can hit you double digits from three, but last night felt like more of a traditional kind of old school physicality, Big Ten sensibility sort of ruckus?
Yeah, I think you got to give credit to the entire conference for the most part. Obviously, Michigan leading the way. Like Raphael just said, the old school basketball is not dead, but what Michigan has done such a great job at mixing the two, right? You can go inside and be the black and blue conference that we know the Big Ten has always been. You can get out and transition and get a little more up-tempo with those horses, those athletes, Marez Johnson, Yaxel, Elliott Cadeau passing. And then, of course, you can step out and hit threes. You know, somewhere along the way, Steph Curry tricked us all into believing that the three-point shot was created equal. And now you see so many teams playing into analytics. But at the end of the day, you see it in college now. Play defense, get good shots, get up and down. That's what wins games. Take care of the basketball, rebound the basketball. Even at the NBA level, you saw with Oklahoma City last year. They got in the mid-range. They played defense. They played hard.
Now, it's one thing for guys to buy into the concept that Michigan apparently bought into of being able to have physical guys in their stature who could expand their game. But Marez Johnson wasn't really a ball handler in Champaign or a shooter, and he's been able to expand his game a bit. Yaxel Lendeborg was the defensive player of the year at UAB. He's been able to expand his game, showing up. even Adai Mara hit a few three-pointers this season. What type of work do you believe this squad had to put in to be able to showcase versatility while they were together that hadn't really been on their film before?
Well, I think that's a credit, again, to Dusty May's system, but to your point, a tremendous amount of work. I think Morez Johnson probably could shoot even more threes than he did. So, again, ties into he could step out and probably go to, Wisconsin or whatever, another Big Ten school, Minnesota. He probably averaged 20 points and get to shoot 5, 6 threes a game, but he knows his role. And he knows what he's supposed to do, and I think that's going to serve him well at the next level. I think you're going to see him be able to step out and knock down shots and also do what he did at Michigan. It's going to make him extremely valuable as his career goes on because he can go get you 10 rebounds, 12 rebounds, whatever it is, and he's going to be able to step out, stretch the floor, play the 4 or the 5, potentially even guard smaller guys on the perimeter, and same with Mara at that next level. Him being able to step out and knock down shots but still have that pristine footwork on the block makes him a matchup nightmare. If he can knock it down consistently at the next level, watch out.
I'm going to be really intrigued by how the coming seasons are shaped in Big Ten men's basketball, because this version of Michigan, all that cohesion, that was really almost a pleasant surprise, but you acquire talent if you're Dusty May, and it all fit together so well. But Tom Izzo in Michigan State, he looks to have players for several years and develop them. Purdue and Matt Painter, he looks to have players for several years and develop them. There are cores that are in place. There's a core that was largely in place for Nebraska, where they had this historic season that they built towards. So now we have, it feels like, both ends of that possibility of the transfer portal talent, like Ben McCollum in his first year in Iowa City, but also some coaches who can and look to develop guys for several years. Is there either version of that you think may lead to more success moving forward? Because the conference is so deep, each coach kind of finds his own way to sort of skin that cat.
Yeah, I mean, again, Michigan has a ton of transfers, but I think we'd be remiss not to mention the guys who stayed. And that's Roddy Gale, Namari Burnett, Will Cheddar. Yeah. All those guys could have gone somewhere different, probably gotten more, resources personally, financially, whatever that is. They made a commitment to Dusty May and to Michigan the same way Dusty May made a commitment to them. So the transfers are great, but I do think there will be remnants or a version of what is your core. You need 3, 4 guys to set that tone, help you set that tone, help you set that culture. And then, of course, when you do go into the portal, you got to hit it right with the right kind of guys, which I think Illinois did a great job of. Wisconsin, Michigan, obviously. Iowa, I think Iowa's actually going to be the outlier. Can you bring 7 guys from a school, or even just have 7 guys stay and continue to progress? I think that's going to be more of an outlier than do you have your 3, 4 guys and then bring in additional guys to match up.
Maybe try to get that extra Yaxel year for Bennett Sturts or something like that. See if they can do that over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. So much more.